There you go. If you guys wouldn't mind locking the front and back doors when you leave.
We can do that.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Can y'all hear us online?
Yeah, no problem.
Awesome. Thanks for confirming. All right, I will call the April 20, how is it, 8th already, meeting of the Salmon Enhancement Commission to order. Looks like we have a quorum. Kim, would you like us to do roll?
Hi there, everybody. How are you this evening? Sorry.
Okay.
We can see everybody present. If you'd like to do roll, you're more than welcome. I do notice that CA and Bridget are available via Zoom. Do you see them, Chair or President?
Cool. If we don't need to do it, we'll bypass it. But it looks like we have a quorum. So, all right, moving on to unfinished business. So last time I provided kind of the marching orders to review the city ordinance, look at what we are doing, what we aren't doing, start thinking about things that we can do to be a little bit more in line with the city ordinance and its respective goals that it outlines for the commission. So I'd like to open the floor now to see if there was any comment on areas that folks thought might need to be redacted or removed from the ordinance. Yeah.
I think I chatted about this before and I don't remember the answer, so I'm going to put the thing out there again. Section 2 of the ordinance talks about 3 people for 4 years, 3 people for 3 years, 3 people for 2 years, and 1 person for 1 year. So that's a total of 10 people.
Okay.
Pardon me, there are some revisions after that. This commission has gone up and down in membership numbers. So that's not probably a current, and the scattered time frame is not the same either. So rather than focusing on membership requirements and that housekeeping stuff, what would be best for you guys to focus on is your mission and goals and what you want to say who you are now. We'll make sure that the next version has all the membership stuff straightened out. Right now, you guys are up to where you are allowed to have
Jenny Brooks.
Oh, never mind. Sorry, I tried to call her thinking she hadn't turned the meeting on, but she did. But I think we're up to 9 on that one now. So yeah, so there's been some changes, Commissioner, but we'll make sure that that housekeeping job is correct with all the various updates.
Okay.
So do you not want us to, thanks for pointing that out, I appreciate that. But so then to confirm, Kim, do you not want us to bring up any thing in the generally section A?
No, I'm sorry that you can, but some of that stuff might have changed in later documents, but depending on when that is, but if you would like to bring them up and make a note for the record, we'll make sure we get things updated.
Okay, cool. Let's go ahead and do that then.
Make a note for the record.
Correct. Did anyone else have anything that they noticed? One thing I noticed was the oath of office. Know that we're not practicing that anymore. Kim, is that something we're practicing with any of the other commissions? Kim, are you there?
Pardon me, I was calling Jenny back. What did you say? I'm sorry, I missed that.
Oh, I was asking about the oath of office. Do we need to take that out as well?
Most places don't actually do them. So I'm gonna leave it at the commission's discretion. If you would like to have it removed, it should be fine. Most commissions don't do that, but it's okay to stay two, so it's really up to you.
Okay, does anyone have any strong opinions about that one way or another? All right, well, let's just defer to whatever maintains consistency with the other commissions. But we'll note that and then defer to that standard by the city. Another thing I noticed was under organization of the commission secretary. Kim, are you our designated secretary?
I think rather than doing the secretary, that's kind of old school, is we can say that we can change language to say that the commission will get assigned a staff liaison.
Okay,
So you don't actually have to worry about that secretary position.
nice. That language and process sounds great. Thanks. Does anyone else have anything on here?
Meeting time and place,
Mm-hmm.
section 6.
Okay.
So we meet once a month,
Mm-hmm.
and elsewhere I see every other month.
Okay. I noticed that as well.
So the decision is 2 months is adequate, yeah, bi-monthly.
Yeah.
I thought we'd already voted on that.
I think we did.
Okay. I think that predates me. So let's just make sure that that's indicated here.
Maybe if you might offer the suggestion to put language in there or something to the effect that, or more as needed and determined by the commission.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's already the language present.
Okay,
Quote, the commission may designate special meeting places from time to time as the need arises. The council shall designate a place for the transaction of the business of the commission in keeping with its records.
try to get to that file in my online system, but it's very sluggish.
No worries. So with that, that sounds like meetings as directed by the city council, but if it's something that as directed by us as a commission, let's maybe add some language in there as well, that we have like the authority to assemble on our own and not just at the discretion of the. No, I guess that's maybe just one sentence says the commission and the other says the council. So let's clarify what's intended by that.
Where are you?
Numbers, section 3, let's see. It's under B, organization of the commission, and then 6, meeting time and place location. So that, there we go. So it's the last 2 sentences, yeah. So I guess it does have in there, the commission may designate special meeting places from time to time as the need arises. And then the following sentence isn't directly in reference to that one, so it doesn't really matter. Cool. Yes, let's make sure this is noted in the next version.
Not to confuse this, but on the third page of the handout,
Mhm.
it talks about every other month, a discussion follow about best time for meetings to be scheduled every 2 months, so the last Monday of the month was agreed to be a good time for everyone. So does this take precedence over?
That's a great question. I'm assuming that it is, I'm assuming that it does, I just don't know if it was completed, because that one says draft on it and the other one doesn't.
Right.
I couldn't quite catch all of that. What section are you referring to, Commissioner?
Okay, in the, after the agenda, there was the minutes and what we did, the minutes of the last meeting.
Right?
In section 2, under unfinished business, city ordinance review,
Okay,
there was a discussion about the best time for meetings, and it was every 2 months on the last Monday of the month.
correct.
Okay, so correct, that's still in the draft format. So is that going to take precedence over the 32.05 Salmon Enhancement Section B6?
Correct, because you guys made that motion and agreed upon that, so we will make sure the new ordinance addresses that every other month.
Okay, awesome, thanks for confirming.
The only thing, just to make sure, we don't put times in there, so it's just the meeting frequency.
Correct,
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
awesome. Thank you. All right, moving forward to the goals of, okay. So we covered all the ordinance housekeeping stuff there. Let's then move on to item number 2, review commission goals, which is the last portion following the ordinance. So it's number 3, goals of the commission onward. Did anyone notice anything there that they thought needed some adjustments?
Well, you and I had talked about it on the economic side, where it starts with the programs with a demonstrated financial soundness should be developed with the goal of producing revenue to the city.
Mm-hmm.
Major goal should be explored for the municipal beyond Salmon Ranch, that end of it. I think it, starting with programs with a demonstrated financial soundness, there on down should be deleted. We're not doing salmon ranches anymore. I mean, this part is very old in the infancy of the program.
Okay,
Yeah, when I read it, I didn't, what?
like what are we talking about here? So, but thanks for bringing that up. I agree that that's a good thing to be cut. Let's do kind of keep note of this somehow, though, as far as record keeping is concerned, that was one of the primary drivers to start the commission. Just so we have a understanding of where things started and where things started as we're moving forward with things. Just so 5 years down the road, if it's an entirely new commission and they decide to pursue investigating the potential of a salmon ranch, we can say, no, we we tried that, didn't work, moving on. All right, the only other thing I saw in there was item A, biological. My only suggestion for that was just to change biological to ecological. Biology deals with one single species. Ecological deals with the larger system. And so I think that might be helpful for us to have on paper as we're dealing with things like stream stewardship projects moving forward that encompass like the whole ecology of salmon and not just the biology of it. So just a little shift in language that I think might make things a little bit more more conducive for some of the things that I know folks are wanting to do, so.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyone else have anything that they noticed on there?
I have a point of clarification if nobody has anything else.
Absolutely, what is it?
The C, the economic, if I understood what you said, Mr. President, you said that you wanted to leave it as it is. Because the way it's written, you're supposed to be doing this.
No, I
So-
think, thanks for clarifying that. I agree that there should be a cut there from the sentence starting with programs with a demonstrated financial soundness. That should be cut. However, I think that there should be some maintained documentation that that was like originally in the ordinance, just so we
Okay.
know that for records moving forward. Does that make sense?
It does. I think where we might be able to do that is where they have those whereas statements in the very beginning of an ordinance.
Okay,
We can clarify that that was, you know, the original intention, and while, you know, there's some important, your new goals are broader based, I guess, around
Mhm.
economic.
yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
I think that's a great suggestion.
Okay.
Thank you. All right, so now thinking about.
I'm sorry, pardon me, Mr. President.
You're fine.
One of the things that I didn't hear was addressed was the liaison officer. That would be under organization of the commission, under the secretary.
Yes,
Do you still want to have a liaison officer attend council meetings?
so I think that that's a great question. I think that our understanding of it is that our liaison officer is an existing council member. Or the liaison is an existing commission member. Does that make sense? So it's a commission member who serves as a conduit between city council and also ODF and W.
It doesn't specify that in there regarding ODF and W, but as far as liaison was concerned, it's somebody who would attend. Oh, I see it. You're right, outside agencies, but somebody that, regular council meeting as is necessary. Okay. Okay, you're satisfied, everybody's satisfied that you'll attend as you need to, which is kind of what your previous president did when he would need to make sure the council knew something. Everything's good that way?
I'm good with that.
Okay,
Is there?
There
Do
was
we need-
something, when we were looking at the secretary, having I wrote down staff liaison.
Okay,
Is that
Right.
the same liaison officer? Is there an implication that it's the same person?
it's a great question.
no,
Yeah,
it's not the same person. The liaison officer, commissioner, would be somebody from your ranks who would be designated as that person, whereas the secretary will be changed to basically staff, as in city staff, as in me or Gina or Carla, or somebody to support you in this role of taking minutes, etc. Does that make sense?
I'm just concerned about somebody taking minutes and providing them to us the next time we meet. Is that the secretary's normally?
That's what we're doing for you right now, Commissioner. We will make sure that these are documented, this conversation, and you will get them at your next meeting.
As long as we have somebody doing minutes.
Absolutely. We also,
Okay.
Zoom has a neat new capability called AI Companion. So all of our meetings have this turned on, which will help us with taking minutes and making sure you get them more timely.
Is that something like Dragon?
Like Dragon, like what, Dragon Naturally Speaking? Is that what you're talking about?
If Dragon is a software package that will just type what you're saying.
Mhm.
It's not the same, but the concept is very close. Yes.
Okay. Modern technology.
Yes.
It is also named after an animal, though. I think it's based around the software is called Otter AI.
Okay,
So yeah, yeah. All right. So does anyone have any further adjustments to ordinances or goals before we start talking about goals more broadly and how we're meeting them and what we might be able to do moving forward to meet them better?
I have a question, do we need to approve the minutes from the last meeting?
Oh, that's a great question. We do need to approve the minutes from the last meeting. I jumped ahead of myself.
I am asking for some clarification in there. Did you guys notice that I didn't quite hear, and I actually meant to look at the computer sitting there to see if I'd captured who made those motions for president and vice president. Like, who motioned for Vaughn to be the president and who seconded? Does anybody recall?
I know that I did one of them. I don't know if I did or the second or
I kind of thought
yeah, I remember.
Okay. We can make that work.
and then I have a typo correction.
Okay. Fire away.
In my name.
Oh,
there
did we
was a
spell your name
I-
wrong?
I between N and C.
Apologies. We'll make sure your name is spelled correctly for the future.
I was in third grade before I spelled it correct twice in a row, so don't worry.
I move that we approve the minutes.
I'll second it.
Moved and seconded.
All in favor?
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Great.
And I'm not hearing anything from the whites.
We're here.
Thank you. Do you approve?
Approved.
Thank you.
Okay, pivoting back to, thanks for bringing that up, Beanie. Pivoting back to ordinance and goals, do we have any other changes that we want made to either before moving forward to discussing how we're meeting our goals? Nope. Great. Kim, what's the process for submitting to you the updates to the ordinance and the goals?
What I think we should do is you can submit to me what we have. Otherwise, we'll use our notes from what we're doing here and from the AI and update them. And we can either, I would like to present them to you at the next meeting to make sure that everything is agreed before you present them to the council.
Okay,
Is that okay?
that sounds great to me.
Okay.
All right, so I guess first and foremost, does anyone have any comment on where we think we're doing a good job as with meeting our goals that are outlined in front of us?
The fish are getting fed. The growing the fish is easy, and the pin clipping is fun. Those goals are met. It's just, as you want to expand the goals is where we want to go. The immediate things are pretty well fundamentally taken care of.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that we're doing a good job with the protection and increased production of salmon in the City Harbor water basin. You guys are doing a great job at that, and I really appreciate it. But Dad, it sounds like what you're saying is under educational, we have some fleshing out to do there.
How so?
Well, you said the easy part was growing the fish.
Well, every Wednesdays, Neighbors for Kids are up there, the salmon army's up there. So I don't know if you want to expand that anymore. We've had Ken had some guests up there with some young children, and the young lady had the pictures and was taking it back to Boise, Idaho for show and tell.
Oh, I love that.
So that educational part for the kids is ongoing, and as we have guests and everybody is a little more interested in it, I think the educational goals are reasonably met.
Okay, I'm gonna probe here a little bit. What are the talking points for those educational touch points about the economic, social, and cultural well-being?
Well, we tell them that economically, these 10-foot fish are going to the charbook things, the ecological thing, you explain to them about the creeks. And the social end of it is the interaction with these people. I think those goals are met.
Okay,
Beanie spent about probably an hour with him and, with his family, and it was 3 generations.
oh, nice.
And the kids were really, really interested and when they did get back to Boise, their mom thanked me thanked me. Just, the bottom line is, I wish we could bring the whole school up.
Nice.
Because it was that, even though their dad fishes and stuff, nobody gets a chance to see that.
Yeah,
Nobody gets to see a 2-inch fry.
The other end of this thing, just on the educational thing, and especially with Neighbors for Kids and the Salmon Arms, we give them jobs. They have duties when they go up there. They're responsible for packing the food up. They're responsible for locking and unlocking the gate. They're responsible for some different things up there. And, they own that place. And giving them, that's whether you want to say it's social or educational or what, that's part of that program.
And those kids they beam that stuff throughout the community.
There's big issues of who's gonna carry the food up, who's gonna unlock the gate.
so do you think that the educational component of it is fine, it doesn't need to be touched?
I think what we're lacking in what we try to do is get the biologist up there, and I think I told him, her brother had a very tragic, traumatic car accident that kind of delayed her thing. That's about the only thing we're lacking, is for them to see a real live biologist.
Okay. So that's great. I think that the idea of getting the biologist up there interacting with Neighbors for Kids is great. Further probing, do you think that the rest of the community understands the economic, social, and cultural importance of salmon to the community?
In my experience through the years, most of them do. I know from motel owners and everything. Obviously, the fishing fleet is aware of it. As you get farther up on the main drag of the street, I think some of those businesses are not necessarily as dependent on a salmon, but it all helps out.
Okay.
Has anybody done any filming or doing a cell phone? Here's a trip through the Salmon Enhancement experience.
Ken has quite a bit of it. I have a lot of it, but I lost my phone, and the new one, when we downloaded, most of those photographs didn't come back yet. But there's, Neighbors for Kids has a pretty good inventory of that, and like, we used to have a Neighbors for Kids person that was one of the jobs, was being a photographer. Okay, so it's kind of in the works.
I have most of those pictures still today, so I can zip them to somebody. Did you get that last group of pictures
I
that I
did.
sent? Okay.
I would think, somewhere down this new business stuff would be, as it rises, to get that together and put those on a thumb drive or several of them so you can share it.
That's a great suggestion. I think an even better suggestion would be to writing down the economic, social, and cultural importance of salmon, maybe developing a presentation, because none of that's documented.
You're very good at that.
I know someone who has dedicated their life to that, so let's do that. I think that, yes, there is some education going on in the community. It's all just oral histories at this point in time, and with that, we've lost a tremendous amount of understanding of the fact that there used to be 5 canneries in the harbor, and a tremendous amount of knowledge about.
When it's done, can we put it on the city's Facebook or?
Absolutely, we can send it anywhere we want, so.
There's somebody from Idaho or Montana who comes here, we could put it on a thumb drive and sell it.
Well,
Yeah.
I've got pictures of when Beanie picked them up and even dumping them in the cribs and stuff. I've saved all those pictures.
Nice, good.
There's so many pictures of me, I can watch my hairline and see.
Well, I did that too, because you're so good looking at the whole world needs to know.
It's a good thing to develop.
Absolutely, yeah. I wanna make sure that we're doing a much better job of documenting the knowledge and the history of things, because we've already lost a lot. I don't wanna see any more go by the wayside, so. Yeah, so with that, moving forward, let's ultimately add a new business item to the next meeting about creating a repository, an image and knowledge repository, where we can start developing some sort of educational piece that will be hosted on the city's website, other places, to both help archive this information and then also be able to share it more easily. Does that sound good, guys?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Would you like me to send you the pictures?
Yeah, I will. I'll have you send you an email of directions for like a folder to put them in. Does that sound good?
Well, maybe my wife could do it for you.
Okay. All right. That way, just so we're not missing anything with a bunch of individual messages going back and forth.
The city hall has some archives of Salmon Enhancement. I have archives. It's a matter of assembling it by who. So we do what we can.
Great. It's awesome. All right. Does anyone else have any comments on the goods and bads of goals before we move on? All right, great. Moving onward then. Feeder repairs. Does anyone have an update on that?
Nobody's done anything. One we have is functional. Actually, we have 2 that are functional. One that's good for parts. It's just a matter of somebody that likes monkeying around with fish feeders and clocks to do it. But we're okay. It isn't a crisis situation.
Okay. Should we cross that off the unfinished business list then?
Yes.
Sweet. Good job, guys. All right, moving forward, number 4, stream crossing sign.
You guys put up the Sasquatch sign.
Yeah. Before, like railroad crossing, there were 2 salmon crossing deals and things like that, and we discussed putting that down by the creek, by the community hall, or wherever we wanted along the road. It's kind of to me, it was kind of a fun thing, and a real awareness. There used to be a set of them on the bridge at the park. And I could follow up and develop that a little bit further. Somebody else didn't want to go with that.
I think that sounds great.
Okay, that's easy.
I'm the new guy here, so how many roads does that stream go under? Because each one of those could have the salmon crossing.
Community Hall, Collins Street, and South Depot Bay Creek at the bridge. That's
So 2.
2 streams, and
2 streams.
2 road crossings in the bridge.
Gotcha. The footbridge of the city park.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I guess we could put one on the Depot Bay Bridge.
Yeah, they go under, they're crossing there.
They
Well,
are.
we could put them anywhere because tourists aren't gonna know the difference anyway,
Yeah.
you know, I mean, seriously.
You might have a little trouble with ODOT. If you try and put it on the bridge,
You think so?
Well,
the 101 bridge.
What's another thing for the city to have a problem with ODOT with? We've got enough already.
Okay.
Great.
It's spray painted on the road.
Also in the same vein as building things. So at the last meeting, we brought up the fish banks, the donation boxes that are shaped like a fish. And I think it's maybe time to make some more of them.
I agree.
Do you have any ideas on that?
I think there are a couple around, they kind of get lost. I think there might be one at City Hall, there's one at Dockside, I don't know about Tradewinds, but, and then somebody's gotta go around occasionally and collect it.
We don't have a box here at City Hall.
Pardon me?
We don't have any kind of box, a donation box here at City Hall that I'm aware of.
Oh, okay.
If we did, it's not, unless they've got it hiding somewhere. I can ask Carla, she may know, but I've not seen one.
We talked about this once before, and somebody had, you know, who was it that had one or had the, did you have one, Beanie, or know where one was? Do we have an example of what they are?
Mm-hmm.
I haven't seen one.
Okay. And if there's not one of the city, there is definitely one at Dockside Charters.
And there's one, a Sparrow one in the gear shed, I think.
Okay, cool, good to know. So yeah, let's, you have the template. Let's make some new ones.
Yeah,
I think that sounds like a fun project. A fun income producing project.
That doesn't produce much income, but I mean, it's, if you go around and collect them, yep. Okay,
I mean, we're not planning on retiring on it, but
the original intention was Salmon Enhancement was going to be self-supporting, and at one time we were supplementing on the fish food, and so that was our revenue.
gotcha.
It'll buy hot dogs.
There we go.
for clipping.
Yep, there we go.
But if there's enough of them out in the community, in shops, there's an educational opportunity about, oh, what's this fish thing for? Well, because we have, our own, pardon the terms, salmon farm, up the road here. Get away from the,
Yeah,
And, well, as far as revenue going in,
but I do think that that's a great idea to try to attach some educational component to it as well. Yeah, and I think that it could also help develop some like more, not only awareness for the program and for salmon in the area more broadly, but also like some support for it as well.
in the same context as that, we have the salmon stickers, which is a good idea, and that generated a lot of revenue.
Mm-hmm.
And it's how, where, what to do on it. You can't, there's a number of shops and places that don't want to deal with that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
The boats are usually eager to support that. You know, I believe that that could be out there for revenue generating, but on the other end of it, I also believe anybody that goes up there flipping fish gets one for free.
Okay. Cool. I don't have any problems with that one.
What does it cost us to buy one of those stickers? Be able to break it down?
CA would know, he's the one that did that.
Yeah, they were about, I think they were close to $300 for all of them, Beanie. I think we got 500 of them.
So,
There's somewhere around, there's some in my truck, but I mean, CA, thanks to that, when we needed that new net, some of those stickers went for $500. Well, that's true.
yeah.
That would do it.
Well,
Yeah. That's,
they're about 30 cents a piece and
that's a good profit margin. Like
Yeah.
that, Beanie.
Yeah.
All right. Go on.
Do you want me to, in my spare time, try to organize this a little bit?
You need something to do. Yeah. Mm-hmm. That sounds great. Thanks for volunteering.
I'll recruit some help.
All right, perfect. I see some helping hands in the audience who will be good to assist you with that. I am seeing one thing that didn't make it onto unfinished business. Ken, is there the potential that we can add an existing discussion item right now?
You are the president. You can add agenda items as you wish, as long as folks just make sure everybody's okay with it, but you can add items.
Awesome, thanks for confirming that, I appreciate it. Is anyone okay if we add stream stewardship project onto the agenda for the evening?
I think that is very important to have the discussion on that.
Great, good. All right, we're adding a 6th item under unfinished business to the stream stewardship project. And again, my apologies for not getting that on the agenda.
it's a biggie.
Do you wanna,
Well, I'll throw it at CA and Bridget. CA, it seemed to me that you had a lot of the energy in wanting to try to promote some kind of stream stewardship end of it. Are you still
Yeah.
interested in doing that?
Well, absolutely. I'm still interested. I just don't have the bandwidth I had, 2 or 3 years ago to do it now. But definitely still interested and would love to be a part of it. For me to commit to leading the charge on a Beanie, I feel like I'd come up short. My plate's awful full right now.
What I saw before in some previous information or ideas you had way back when, I mean, I thought they were, if I can find them, should I pull that out and use what your suggestions were
Oh,
to,
yeah, I have all of that information still, and that's not a problem. It's just, trying to, it's almost a whole nother committee and, the educational piece for the community and then actual boots on the ground and getting the work done. There's a lot to it. Um, and like I say, I'm happy to assist and help out. I just don't feel like, well, I know right now it's not the time for me to try to lead the charge on it. I'm like right now, I'm headed to Seattle, my wife and I right now for so we're traveling a lot right now. So it'd be difficult for me to be plugged in as much as I would like to really be a benefit to being the lead. Absolutely enjoy and appreciate the opportunity to work alongside somebody who has more time than I do to lead the charge.
my thought would be if you could send those ideas down and share them with the committee, there might be pieces that we can fundamentally put together to move forward. But we, I think it's an important program. Again, it's social and economic,
Absolutely.
environmental.
I agree 100% on that. I'll absolutely put together everything that I sent out before and I'll resend it to the group. And I really do, believe that it's one of the things we really need to lean into the most here. I think we've got a pretty good handle on salmon enhancement and that program. But, as the town grows and we get more hard surfacing and, there's just a whole lot more runoff that's going to end up in that creek. And, it'll be a detriment down the road if we don't, try to get ahead of it. And, I would love to be a part of that to try to figure that out. And, I know we're bringing on some new recruits to the program, and maybe there's somebody who's got a little more time that would like to join forces with me. I appreciate something like that, but to really give it the effort I think that needs. I just don't have the bandwidth right now, guys.
That's fair, and I appreciate you being open about your capacity right now.
Yeah, for sure.
And
Absolutely.
everybody can pick up a piece. If you share that out there, there'll be pieces we can pick up. I know for a fact, there will be development issues there, and part of the stream stewardship is the property owners understanding what they can and cannot do. Had a property owner with good intentions clearing down to the creek, and that was stopped by a city ordinance. But just getting that awareness out, if we get the building blocks and the foundation through time, we can develop that.
I agree. I think that, if we get the message out there, I think you're going to find people in the community, Beanie, that are going to want to, connect with us and join forces and, lean into this thing and really get a program going that, maybe we've got, cleanup days, annual cleanup days or multiple cleanup days and, get the kids involved. I was thinking too on the educational piece for salmon enhancement, it's such a big hit with the neighborhood for kids. Is there any way to open it up a little bit more to allow a few more kids in, maybe from the, Glen Eden Beach, Lincoln Beach, the elementary school and try to, maybe have like a field trip day or something for them to get them plugged in? Because it really is a big hit for the kids for sure.
I think that's a great idea.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. And I know that it's a resource that, an educational resource that a lot of educators don't actually know about. So I think that some handshaking and bridge building, could maybe go a long way there.
I agree. I changed the subject just a little bit, but I'd let you guys know that right now, going up that road on that creek, it is beautiful. Just, the trilliums are out, changing color, the salamanders are going, all these neat little flowers and mosses are going. I mean, it's a real experience.
It is a special spot.
Yeah.
So let's add that, let's bundle that into that little piece into what we're talking about for education, not only, what we're gonna educate people on, or the knowledge that we're, recording and archiving, but also who we're sharing that with, and be sure that we share that with some educators in the area, like at the elementary, middle, and maybe even high schools, so. Yeah, jumping back to more squarely into stream stewardship. CA, if you wanna send that over, that information you have over to the commission, just so we're all aware of what exactly it is and what all the parts and pieces are, I think that that's a great starting point for that, and
Sure.
we can start. Go ahead.
Sorry, guys, I'm traveling here. It's kind of hard to hear you. Do I need to send that to Kim, or how do you want me to relay that out to the team so we're in compliance on that? Should it go to, who do I need to send it to get it volleyed out?
Pardon me, President, if he sends it to me or Gina, we can make sure not only number one, that we have it, to make sure that in case somebody else needs it, we have it, and then disseminate to you, and then we can make sure there's copies at a next meeting if you want. It just makes it easier, and then we make sure that we have it as well. Even though I think we do, but just to make sure.
You got it.
Thank you, CA.
Thank you.
Appreciate that. Does anyone have any follow-up on that? Additional comments? All right. We kind of definitely attended to the new business of revising ordinances and goals while we were reviewing them. I will just say that if everyone's good with what was discussed and what I've noted, we'll make sure that those revisions get to Kim to be updated in the documents and to be reviewed at the next meeting. Does that sound good to everyone?
Agreed.
Cool.
Agreed.
Great.
Yep.
Awesome. Thanks for confirming, CA.
You bet.
Does anyone have any parting questions, comments, or concerns before we adjourn?
There's a young lady at Neighbors for Kids that's one of our career people, and they speak to her parents once in a while whether she would be interested to attend one of these meetings. In the past, we've had young people at the meetings, part of the council and everything like that. And it was good for them to see a little bit how city government works a little bit. And for one young lady, it was a real springboard to get going on up to scholarships and whatever. It's all right, I'll might have a guest attending next time.
I think that's a great idea. I think you're welcome to, maybe a good idea to share that with the rest of the Salmon Army as well. Just so they're included too, as a learning opportunity for how city commissions work. I learned a thing or two as well, so. All right, anyone else? Questions, comments, concerns? Great. With that, I am going to call the April 28th, 2025 meeting of the Depoe Bay Salmon Enhancement Commission adjourned.
Night, everybody.
Night, everybody.
Good night.
Safe travels, CA. Enjoy your time in Seattle.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, Kim. Is there anything that we need to do other than lock the front and back door? Do we need to do anything with?
Shut off the lights.
No, just lock up. I might come in a little bit and just make sure the system's shut down. The benefit, that's the benefit of living a few minutes from home, so no problem. Yeah, so if you just lock up I'll take care of, I'll come back and take care of everything else. Not a biggie.
Awesome.
We should just take what we need before we lock the doors.
Yeah, there you go.
Yes.
Don't forget to flush. Is that your pen?
Nope.